Let's now shift our focus to the Ukraine war. Here's what has happened in the last 24 hours. Russia is continuing to pound Kyiv. It's Ukraine's second largest city. By attacking Kyiv, Russia has opened a new northeastern front in the war. Because for the last 2 years, both the sides had been fighting largely in the east and south. The Ukrainian authorities have released drone footage showing the current state of Kharkiv's Korotych settlement. Take a look. The Russian Defense Ministry has claimed that its forces maintained advantageous positions along the front lines in Kharkiv. It also claimed to destroy multiple targets. This includes multiple rocket launcher systems and air defense systems in the border town of Vovchansk. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces have reported over 100 battles in the frontline area. They claim they have targeted Russian electronic warfare systems, command posts, ammunition depots, and also shot down a Russian Sukhoi Su-25 attack aircraft. However, the biggest headline today is the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Kyiv. It's supposed to be a surprise visit. But are you even surprised? In fact, I would be if he decided to be in the U.S. for a while. Has anyone even seen him in America for long lately? The top American diplomat has become the lord of the air miles of late. And why is he in Ukraine exactly? To reassure Zelensky of American support? After all, he has come bearing a long-delayed U.S. aid package. Listen into what he had to say.
We know this is a challenging time, but we also know that in the near term, the assistance is now on the way. Some of it's already arrived, more of it will be arriving, and that's going to make a real difference against the ongoing Russian aggression on the battlefield. And we're determined, along with many other partners for Ukraine, to make sure that you succeed on the battlefield.
And after this speech, Blinken was seen enjoying a pizza with Ukraine's Foreign Minister, Dmytro Kuleba.
Hello. It's here, and they also offer the service where you could actually order pizza straight to the military unit. Yes. And that was also, this probably should go as I follow a lady on Instagram who gives advices on proper 2 Ukrainian pizzas. One of them is actually called Ukrainian.
Well, I have to say, as somewhat of a knowledgeable person about pizza, as most Americans are, the pizza here is superb. I highly, highly recommend it. The Ukrainian pizza, as you called it, was excellent. Could not have been better. And look, I think it's appropriate that, yes, we went to McDonald's last time. Now we're at a Ukrainian pizza place. Next time we'll have to figure out what cuisine to try.
Enjoying pizza, giving reassuring speeches, taking multiple foreign trips. That's all that Blinken seems to be doing these days. And I'm not the one saying that only. I have numbers. You can see for yourself, Blinken has flown for over 834,000 miles. So would it be wrong to call him the Lord of the Air Miles? Since the war started in Gaza, Blinken has made as many as 6 tours to West Asia with multiple stops. Has he found a resolution yet? There is no ceasefire deal, no hostage exchange deal as of now. The war still continues. Israeli tanks have forged deeper into eastern Rafah. Israel's international allies and aid groups have repeatedly warned against a ground incursion into refugee-packed Rafah. Now, just a week ago, Blinken was in Guatemala. Before that, he traveled to Jordan, Saudi Arabia and Israel. The Kyiv trip is his 3rd one in May, and we're only halfway through the month. Last month, he was in China, Italy, France and Belgium. He will visit China again this week. But my question here is, how are his trips helping anyone? What is the point? What's the end result? next story is about remarks made by the US ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti. He spoke about how the US allowed India to buy Russian oil to ensure that the prices did not go up globally. Our next report telling you more about what he said and why his statement has left behind a series of questions.
US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti has claimed the US had allowed India to buy Russian oil. He said that they allowed the purchase to take place to ensure the prices did not go up globally. Global oil prices did not shoot up, and India delivered on that. His statement has triggered a series of question marks. First, let's get you some context. After the Russia-Ukraine war broke out, India continued to buy crude oil from Russia, but it was condemned by the US for doing so. In the aftermath of the war, the US urged countries, including India, to decrease their reliance on Russian energy sources. In fact, the then US Deputy NSA, Dalip Singh, had even issued warnings during his visit to Delhi. He cautioned against the consequences of increasing Russian energy imports in 2022. The White House explicitly advised India against expanding its purchases of Russian oil. However, India has been very clear about its stance. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar acknowledged the pressure exerted on India, highlighting the potential economic repercussions of complying with these directives. He emphasized that yielding to such pressure would have led to a significant increase in petrol prices, and this could have adversely affected consumers. In fact, in February this year, the External Affairs Minister reaffirmed India's stance on buying Russian oil despite sanctions on Moscow amid military conflict with Ukraine. During his visit to Germany for the Munich Security Conference, the minister stated that Europe should understand that India cannot have a view of Russia that is identical to the European one. India's strategy of continuing to buy cheap oil from Russia despite Western pressures against these purchases has paid off. And how? It has resulted in the saving of around $7.9 billion in the country's oil import bill during the first 11 months of the fiscal year 2022-2023. It has also helped the country lower its current account deficit. On Monday, a move by the United States soon started making headlines. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, signed into law a ban on Russian enriched uranium. This move was aimed at disrupting Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The ban on imports of the fuel for nuclear power plants begins in about 90 days. But here's the catch. It allows the Department of Energy to issue waivers in case of supply concerns up until 2028. The Prohibiting Russian Uranium Imports Act is aimed at reducing and ultimately eliminating America's reliance on Russia for civilian nuclear power. But what was the US doing for 2 years? Why did it take them all this while to make this move? Why the delay in banning Russian uranium? According to US Energy Department data, Russia provided almost a quarter of the enriched uranium used to fuel America's fleet of more than 90 commercial reactors, making it the #1 foreign supplier. Those sales provided an estimated $1 billion a year to Russia. Replacing that supply could be a major challenge. It also risks raising the costs of enriched uranium by about 20%. Will the move boomerang? And while the ban is finally in place after a long delay, will waivers be issued? Time will tell. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
It is the 14th of May 2024 and we are in the age of underwater drones. Look at what Australia has unveiled. This is a ghost shark. Australia claims this war machine is quote-unquote the most advanced undersea autonomous vehicle in the world. These drones are long-range, they are hard to detect. The ghost shark can be used for surveillance, collecting intelligence, even attacking an enemy. What you see on your screen is the prototype of the ghost shark. It's called Alpha. 42 Australian companies worked on it. The drone was designed, engineered and manufactured in Australia. In fact, Australia's Defence Ministry says the first production models will be delivered by the end of next year. Meaning, come 2026, several such ghost sharks could be swimming in the waters around Australia or in the waters around your country. How do you know? You've seen aerial drones. They have been around for a while now. Aerial drones have been used for surveillance, even assassination missions. I'm thinking late Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Drones have been used in Afghanistan, reportedly to also spot the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden's hideout in Pakistan. Drones have changed the skies of Ukraine and Russia. And now they are set to change the seas. This is the monster manta ray. This too is an underwater drone. This giant and dangerous drone has been made for the United States of America. Who made it? American defense giant Northrop Grumman. This prototype was tested in California in February and March this year. The drone maker, Northrop Grumman, says the monster manta is ready for a war zone. This monster manta is reportedly equipped with 4 propellers. It can carry several payloads of multiple sizes. The monster manta is designed to carry out, quote-unquote, long-duration, long-range missions in ocean environments where humans cannot go. It may look and sound like a sci-fi movie plot, except it's reality. Countries are developing war machines one would have previously brushed aside as too futuristic. Here's another American underwater drone, the American Orca. It's a diesel-electric powered, extra-large, unmanned undersea vehicle. This war machine has been made for the US by Boeing. It has been designed to carry out long-duration missions. It has been made to survive in contested waters. The Orca can remain at sea for months. It can carry a range of weapons. It can be equipped with payload modules of up to 34 feet. Not only can the Orca be used as an attack drone, it can also be used for reconnaissance and intelligence gathering, undersea or even seabed warfare. In the year 2022, France launched its seabed warfare strategy. The country's former Minister of the Armed Forces wrote, "The ocean depths are like a new frontier, where ambiguous and hybrid strategies are staged." In 2023, NATO established an undersea infrastructure coordination cell. The Defense Alliance said this new cell will, quote-unquote, facilitate engagement with industry and bring key military and civilian stakeholders together. You see what's happening here? The focus is shifting towards drone warfare at sea, and it's already happening. Ukraine has used underwater drones to attack Russian forces. Houthis are using underwater drones in the Red Sea. This is a US Central Command statement issued in February. Let me read it out for you. Between the hours of 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., CENTCOM successfully conducted 5 self-defense strikes against 3 mobile anti-ship cruise missiles, 1 unmanned underwater vessel and 1 unmanned surface vessel in Iranian-backed Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. This is the first observed Houthi employment of a UUV since attacks began in October 23. These developments underline something we were telling you about just yesterday. The next big war will be fought in the sea. And guess what? It will be nothing like what you had imagined or even seen. This is not the World War era of naval blockade. This is the era of dangerous technologies and drones, or nuclear submarines and stealth war machines. And in this era, mammoth aircraft carriers have become vulnerable to underwater drones that are 100 times smaller. The game is changing and countries are getting war ready. It's not just the Australia and the US that have or are working on underwater drones. As early as June 2022, India's Ministry of Defence issued an expression of interest inviting the Indian defence sector to design and develop an underwater launched unmanned aerial vehicle. Reports say Canada also is developing underwater drones, as are France, Israel, Iran, North Korea, Norway, Russia, South Korea, even the UK. Now, coming back to the Ghost Shark, the underwater drone that we started the story with, Australia says once it is done manufacturing at scale for its own navy, Canberra will be open to exporting the Ghost Shark to its allies and partners. Will it be the AUKUS or the Five Eyes?